We in it. We winning. Que paso, amigos? Konnichiwa. Tomodachi. Nah, I'm playing. I'm gonna get the thing about, like what I admire about different rap styles and different like countries and whatnot, like how they rhyme words and whatnot. Gotta get there. For all of my people, dude, hello, konnichiwa, ni hao, dobre din. What's that other one? Oh, como allez-vous? almost forgot a lot. We're just getting them all, because it is lovely to see all of my people from all over, from where we're in Chicago, Los Angeles, Texas, Mexico, France, Europe. Oh, that's the same place. It is wonderful to see everybody in, and it is a true honor to be here. We got my people here today in the chat. Y'all know how I like structuring it, but I gotta give my boy his shout out. My boy Sir Ricky. That's my dog. That I'm telling you, that man, he knows some things about life too. Like y'all see me, but I've had conversations with that guy, and that guy knows some things. So we getting into it today with our shift in perspective, because you already know that is what we do on a regular basis to get to where we're going. That is a part of our everyday success, everyday shizness. We don't like to start off with any profanity. We gotta, we'll get there. I'm playing. We're keeping it nice. We're keeping it nice. Hey, outside of that, it is a pleasure to be here with you all. I have fun with this often because I've never really seen myself as one to be able to give this kind of information regularly. Like, it's been an honor because I get to study the information. I get to pull perspective from everyday situations. I get to pull perspective from history and then bring it forth, because some of these same lessons and some of these aspects aren't anything that are brand new. They are things that have existed over the course of eons. We're talking before Christ. We're talking about BC, AC, 3D, not like in it. So to be able to have those perspective lenses on, to realize like, oh, well, I see it this way. Oh, but I've never seen it this way. Like, how many times have you ever been in a moment of talking to someone and then they made so much sense about what they were talking about that you go, wow, I've never seen it from that way, and just felt so present with the information that it allows you to understand where you're going to go next. That's all we do. That's all we do every day. See, we make this correlation of what we want to do and what we have to do, right? We kind of always end up separating. Like, we want to go to the beach and enjoy the day. We want to sit back and read. We want to sit back and enjoy a good TV show on the couch. But we have to go to work. We have to go make money. So there's this weird correlation that we always set. We set these limitations on allowing ourselves that we have to do it to get it done. Now, I don't say like BS and don't handle your business. Like, obviously, handle your business. But I say that there are ways, because like anything, you thinking about it, doing too much with it doesn't help. But then you also not doing anything with doesn't help either. So there's this fine tune that you get into when it comes to actually putting this all together. So we can become a little afraid of giving ourselves everything while being able to be succumb to the things that we want. So there's this fine tune that we're getting into. So that's why the topic is making fear your friend. Because if you allow yourself to make the fear of failure, the fear of perspective, the fear of being seen something that you're comfortable with, then you go a lot further. Like you end up in this mode of doing things out of willingness to get it done and attempting to see what it's like to get it to do it, than to just be someone that doesn't do anything because they've never done it before. So that's where we have our topic today of making fear your friend, because it's through that uncomfortability, right? You know, everybody, oh, I don't wanna, I don't, oh, it's uncomfortable, I never, oh, it's cold, it's hot. Like, no, no. Focus in. The water does not get warmer the longer you wait to jump in. You only adjust when you're in it. Like, don't get me wrong, I practice cold showers myself sometimes. And, to keep myself distracted, I just kind of like get into it real quick. And I just kind of just say, like, I am successful and I attract more success. Get your brain in the motion of it, so that way you can, you can allow yourself to feel the cold water for the intensification of nerves and feelings. And then you also speak what you want to do and how you do it on top of it. So, it's like all the science behind it and, vibrate. We can get into all that in a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's making that fear of that cold water work in your favor, right? Because through fire, through it, it can either melt or it can forge. So it's up to you to decide what you're going to allow it to do to you once you're in it and adjusted. If you don't go in at all, then nothing will ever happen. And then I've lived a life of, when growing up, I seen sports and everything. I'm like, that's cool. I would like to do that. I don't want to sit here and watch it. I mean, yes, exciting. Yeah, go. But, I kind of want to throw the ball. I want to catch it. I want to be able to do it. Not knowing that these are things that you want to be able to enhance on a regular basis. So to get into it, right, we got it written here. Like, the first setup of it is knowing about the weakness and being free from it are two different things, right? Knowing about the fear of the water being cold is not as important as knowing about how to sustain the temperature while you're in it, right? So knowing about the fear isn't enough. You have to be able to take on the training to be willing to understand that, oh, there are a couple of levels to this that I have to go through to get to a point of actually overcoming it, right? We talk about the weight analogy on a regular basis. Like, you don't just go and lift 100-pound barbell set and just think that if you've never done it before, you can just do it, right? You get warmed up for it. You focus on the stretches, you focus on the squats, you focus on the form, and then you kind of like analyze, you work up to it, you build that consistency over time to be able to get to heavier reps and heavier weight limits. So it's the same thing. Like, knowing that the weight isn't, knowing that the weight is 100-pound weight isn't enough. Like, you have to be able to know the form and the structure behind why and how it would take to get it off the ground. So just grasping that understanding gives you so much perspective of knowing how something can be done. It's kind of like how we talked about last week. The perspective of it sometimes can be so focused on one thing that you miss the other perspectives of what could be done. So that limited thought process is what we get so lasered in on the one thing that we forget. Now, there's a difference between, being focused on the overall and being so focused that you lose like the overall sense of what's going on. Like, right? You don't want blinders, you want your perspective, right? So it's important to, keep that balance, right? And these are like everyday things, right? Like, obviously someone like steps on your toe or you hit your arm on a doorknob. Like, obviously first reactions are like, what the, like, or like, ow, like, that's like, doesn't, So being able to understand that those things are regular things, like, there's a time where, like, one thing that I've been so irritated with lately is just dropping my phone. Like, I've just been like, I got the OtterBox on it and stuff like that. That's no excuse. Like I'm just so, like, in the way I drop it sometimes, like I'll pull it out of my pocket and I guess I wasn't grabbing it like tight enough, and then it flips out, and then it's one of the, it's not a regular drop, like a like, it's like a, like, and like I'm like, like, come on, like, so, like, me knowing that the phone is okay, but, like, anyway, like, sorry, that's just what I've been having a problem with, like, but for me to know it isn't enough, right? Being able to put yourself through that concept of training and understanding that there's a way that it can be done can allow you to keep that perspective open and whatnot. Good thing I do got the OtterBox on the phone, because, like, phone would have been destroyed by now. Like, like, so big shout outs to the OtterBox. Hey, anyway, like, so knowing about it and how we say it? Knowing about it, the weakness, and being free from it are two different things. So the fear that holds a lot of us back is when we go, something that I want to do. I mean, it could or it may. Those reactions are the dream killers that really affect a lot of everyday people. The main difference between the giants and the regular people is that the giants don't allow that what if or how if or if it does to stop the process and momentum of it. Because remember, anything in motion stays in motion. If an external force comes out of nowhere, it doesn't stop it. It continues to keep in motion. It continues to keep its momentum unless you decide to stop it. So if you go, all right, I'm somebody who does this, and then inconvenience come out of your way, and then you're like, like, like it's gonna stop you. Like, if you're somebody, all right, I does this, and then they go inconvenience, and you're like, not today, and then you just continue on. Then that's how you can learn the practice, like, on a consistent basis. You just allow it to just continue on to where, like, that training just sticks with you. It starts to allow you to understand, like, all right, cool. Like, I get nervous sometimes with this. I do it. Um, there's this one flare move that, like, I just kind of make, my little, it's like you throw the 10 and it lands in the other 10. You just kind of let it throw in you. So sometimes when I go to a new environment, a new bar, stuff that I've never been in, and, like, I want to do this move, I'm a little because, like, I'm in a new place, like, these are different kinds of tins, like, I'm thinking about all these things that are so external, when at the end of the day it's me just doing the same move that comes out of, just grab a 10, little flip, boop, like, no matter where I am. So the fear of me throwing it isn't the problem. The fear of me not being able to catch it when I feel that I can is the problem. Like, if you already can do it and you're already doing it, then don't be afraid of how you get it done and how you go at it. Just tune it up, master it, craft it. That's how the evolution works. You do this, and then you upgrade a little bit, then you transform a little bit, then you build more of the structure, and then it starts to work out a lot more. That's just the setup of it. So if you allow that setup to be, then your whole design can be just as flawless as the setup, because then you're letting them work together. Like, so it's important to just realize, like, all right, cool. This is something that I do, and I'm doing it again. And, I'm a little nervous because I'm doing it again in another environment. But, here I am doing it at my finest capacity, like I do normally, like, despite where I am and, how many of the tools I usually have while I'm doing it, like, it don't blame. It's not the boat, it's the captain. I had a better one. But anyway, like, so learning that, all right, this is the fear, and then learning this is what I do to not let it bring me down, are entirely different practices. Like, you can You can know how scary the world is and then don't go out in the world at all, but that's not helping either. Like, right? So you want to be able to kind of figure out the best ways to keep yourself in best condition to not. I'm not saying that you need to be some Spartan out here in these streets. I'm just like, do apply more of what you're able to do when it comes to your awareness, your strength, your defense. Like, because you want to be the best when needed, and you also want to be your best always, so that way you can always be ready. Better to have it, not need it, not have it. Like, get your. I'm not. You don't got to be locked in, armored guard 24/7. With just still make sure that you know what's going on around you. You got like it's the world out here. There's a lot of inconveniences going on. We talk about this. Like, come on now. Like we were just saying this. There's inconveniences in the world. You don't want to just be waltzing on down the street and an inconvenience comes by that you're not paying attention to, and it messes you up. So, like the second point into this is the bridge that gaps the possibilities between the success and that possibility is all action. We have this fear that, oh, it won't look as good, it won't be as good. I mean, I don't know. The only thing that bridges the possibility of it being something great is the overall goal and then the effort it takes to get there. It takes that possibility and momentum put together to allow you to do what you can do best. That's in more words than what I want to say, but it allows you to know that, all right, this is where I want to go and this is what I have. So to get there, I just take action. You just allow yourself to do more. Like, and that's a really interesting one, right? Because what more about what? More about what definition, right? If you're someone who does the 20 push-ups, what, like 40 push-ups, and then after that, what, 80 push-ups, and then 100 push-ups, and then like, how many? So, there will always be more. It's just that dependency of what you feel is the definition, right? This is why we always talk about the constructive criticism, right? You don't want to sit over here and just say, I ain't, I'm not, I don't have, like, you want to be able to give yourself your credit and know that, like, all right, this is what I did. This is what worked well. This is what I can work on. Like, you want to be honest with yourself so that way you don't fall into bad patterns of routine that don't help you succeed. So it's important to it's that same aspect of, like, your environment plays a big part, right? Like, if your environment is a cluttered environment, cluttered mind. If your environment is a organized, set up environment, then it can allow you to think differently. I'm not saying that a disorganized environment means a disorganized mind, but the science behind a cleaner work environment of visualization of, like, nothing in the way, like everything's set, versus a cluttered one and how much work can get done are night and day. So you want to just be like, hey, look, some people can read while listening to music, like, it's like, so hey, like, you got to design. Like I say, no limitations over here. So, like, if you got it, you got it. But at the end of the day, just learning how to keep that structure of how you get there, right? How are you going to be able to succeed with the possibilities that you have now? Because we got some love, trust and believe. You gotta love some, like, that is going to allow you to get to where you're going, because you've already had it. You've seen it a couple of times, like if not many of times, right? You've seen that you got this walk. You've seen that one pair of jeans, right? It's always subtle. It's always so subtle. It's like this one pair of jeans that when you like put them on and you button them up, like they just feel smooth. Like you kind of like you bend down and they been with you, so they kind of make you feel like, okay, wait a minute. Then you go out and now you're feeling good because you just went and bend down and pick it up, and now when you went down and pick it up, that Pure Life water, stay hydrated, stay refreshing. We're gonna get them. We're gonna get them sponsors. We're gonna get them. It's on. Look. Anyway, you rocking your jeans and you in it to win it, and now you strutting like now you're like, all right, cool, like I got these jeans on, like I'm moving them like this, and now I'm moving in them like that, by the bing, by the boom. It could be this one ponytail holder that you got that angles out real nice to where it throws like your hair in a certain dynamic. It could be a certain watch or a bracelet that when you kind of like throw it on, it kind of jingles a little bit. So when you walk and you kind of just like, ugh. It's these subtle things that give you that kind of perspective of like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. And then guess what? Someone doesn't compliment the thing, right? They don't say, oh, those jeans look really nice. They don't say like, hey, is that a new bracelet? They don't say like, hey, like I like your scrunchie. They'll say something along the lines of, hey, well, you look like you're in a good mood today. Oh, well, you look happy. Oh, you look good. Because they're not complimenting the thing that you're wearing. They're not complimenting the jeans you're wearing. They're not complimenting the bling you got. They're not complimenting the style of your hair. They're complimenting the aspect of how you are. And we do this thing where we connect how we are to the thing. So then now we're just someone who's buying Louis Gucci Prada because of the fact that it's Louis Gucci Prada, instead of like actually appreciating the design and the charisma that it has when you wear it. Like, you're just kind of doing it for a name. And you get lost in the trends, and then you start like, there's this difference, right? There's this like, there's this fun. There's nothing wrong with liking great things. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be more. There's nothing wrong with that. It's about how you do it that makes it in perspective, because like, hey, look, everybody's a villain in someone's story, like, and everybody has their story. With you can't make everybody happy either, so I get it. But at the end of the day, it really is, dude, if you're someone who is literally like out here handling your business, not causing no harm to nobody, no road rage, none of this extra, like, you actually, I'm not saying you gotta like donate life savings to charity or anything, like, like someone who actually cares about the other well-being of another member of society, like, we don't kick the kids in the chest. We love the children. Don't kick the kids in the chest. Like, but someone who is actually like, doing something in society to like, further benefit, like, then you can have more. And there's nothing wrong with you understanding the perspective of like, all right, well, I do this, I got this, and I want to go here. But what's the thing that I do, the road, the map, the GPS, the North Star, what's the direction, what's the concept that I take for me to get to a point of what I do normally to do it in more efficient, magnificent manners. It's just understanding that there needs to be something happening. Look, so one thing with me, right, is the connection, right? We're here, we're live, we're talking about it, we're having fun with it. We do what we do. Es lo que hacemos, es lo que hago, eso es lo que soy. Like, so we're having fun when we do it. But the thing that I want to focus on is to be able to build more of that connection, right? To be able to expand the reach. Now, I find myself in like great conversations with people because like, I'm like genuinely like, hey, how are you feeling? What do you do? And then they go, well, I'm in this and I do this. And I mean, I'm in it, but and then I go, hey, look, that's all about the work, baby. Because if you throwing in that work, then that means you working at it. And that means if you working at it, then that means you're doing something. And that means if you're doing something, then that means you're going somewhere. Now, where is it that you want to go? What is that? Because we can get lost in it sometimes. We can get so caught up in the what, the how, and how we gotta and where we gotta go to do it. But then by the time we're on our way there, we're like, wait, where am I going again? Like, what do I feel? What am I doing? Like, where, like I grew up in a time where like, like I don't know, I don't know for sure because like I'm not in school and whatnot, but like, college was like very important. Like go to college, like, get, great, good grades through high school, SATs, ARTs. Hey, get them all the T's. Hey, to where that, it's important, like, get there and get it. But then, like, throughout the time of me about to go to college, like, there was a lot of people well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but there was a few people that I knew that was like in the college aspects of it, of like, they're not enjoying it. Like, they didn't figure it out. They're just going because they're just going. Like, honestly, I got the question young, like, oh, what do you want to be? Like, when I was in like fourth grade, I was like, what? You do something else after this? Like I'm what, 9 years old. I don't know what that question means. Like it's interesting to understand the aspect of where you want to set up that question now. Because then, like I say, you got the whys, like, and you got the hows, and you got the wheres. And then when you get there, what are you when you're there? Like what happened? Like what'd you do? Like what, like, on you didn't came this far, this many miles, these many steps, like, and you've got here, like, what what has been attained through this way of getting here? Because then that's what we forget. We've had, like, you're 16, you're 28, you're 35, you're 43, you're 57, you're 62. Like, what have you got? Like, because at each point in your life, something's happened, right? Something's occurred, something's made you feel some kind of way, something of an outside, something of an inside. So through that, what has happened? What have you learned from it? What has grown? What has been structured? What has been created through those moments? Because we have them. Like, everyone has their story. Everybody has their moments. Everybody has that pain. So it's important to understand that with that pain, with that understanding, with that story of what they have, to understand what came from it. Because you got a lot of people who will sit over here and go through some shit, excusez-moi mon français, and then you act like, oh my gosh, like, and then you'll hear it in their voice and the explanation on why it happened, and then you realize, like, wait a minute, you kind of did that. Like, you kind of made that happen for yourself, but you not taking the responsibility for it. And that ain't what we do. That ain't what happens over here. Because for you to not take the responsibility of what happens in your life, like I say, look, there's been many. Look, if there's traffic, it's not the traffic's fault. It's your fault. Why you know it's gonna be traffic? Leave home earlier. So we do these things and they compound. The same way compound interest works, it works the other way too. Like, it allows you to understand that, oh, if I do this over a course of time, then this happens. It works both ways. So it's just all about what you decide to let it go. So life happens to everybody. Everybody has a story and everybody has something going on with them. What have you pulled from it? What have you understood? Where has the possibilities of what you've done to where you are now? What action have been taken to get you here? And that's number two. So the third setup of this is the building, right? The building. It's the confidence, if not the confidence, the proof that you can do it to build the confidence. If not the proof, then it's the skill you build to get the proof to become more confident. If not the skill, then applying the discipline to build the skill. So that means if you're already at one of the steps, then you know which one needs to be taken next to get you to that next point. If you're at the beginning steps of building the discipline, then get ready, because once you build that discipline, there is no going back on it. Because if you build a certain structure and you like, man, this is nice, you wouldn't want nothing to happen. You don't want it to be torn down. You don't want it to be like in a disastrous manner. You want to have it taken care of. There was just an analogy that I was listening to. It was if you could have your dream car, right? If you could have any car, any color, any style that you wanted and whatnot, and you could just have it, what you would design it, you would make it, you want it pink, green, blue, you'd have these kind of tires, a spoiler, tinted windows, I'm thinking I'm throwing some suicide doors on a minivan. What you talking about? Like, but then the catch is that was the only car you would ever have for the rest of your life. You'd make sure that it was designed in your manner, it was taken care of, it was driven to solidarity. It wouldn't be a scratch not on that, because it's how it's been set up. Well, that same aspect works in your everyday life, your everyday mind, your everyday body. You have the one. You got the one body, one brain, one system right now that's getting you to where you're going. So you have to treat that system with some decency, with some respect, because if you don't allow yourself to understand that your system is what's getting you to where you're going, then you will only damage it. And look, people say life is short. I don't agree. I really don't agree that life is short, because it's how you use it that makes it short. If you spend 30 years doing the same thing you've always done for 30 years and then do something else for 5 years and then die, then you would say they had a short life because they didn't do much with it. But if you live the same 30 years, going here, doing this, creating that, being there, doing all these things, and then you die, then you would say, oh, they lived a fulfilled life. So I don't believe that it's a short life. I believe that if you use it promptly, then it can be very everlasting. You got people who figured it out in their 30s and 40s, and they're in their 50s now, still sitting talking about I still got a long way to go. So for me to be 28, about to be 29, it puts me in the perspective of well, if I'm already here right now and I'm doing very well, then I figure with the increased volume of value over the course of every day, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, as many times as I can, the Kaizen technique, Tomodachi, of 1% better of every day, then just maybe in the next 365 days, in the next 600, my math not that fast, in the next 2 years, it could be a lot more great. Look, I have a really big plan for this channel now. And throughout the same structure of building the discipline, to build the skill, to build the proof, to build the confidence, all allows it to just keep growing and keep building. For me to sit here right now, there's so many things that are just Roman. I was walking yesterday and thoughts were just blooming and going. And I was like, whoa, hold up. Let's bring it back here. Let's bring it back to a structure to understand why we're so excited, while being so overwhelmed, while also knowing what needs to be done and what we have to do. Because your system is great. Your system, your brain, your body, that intuition, that will, all of that is all of your tools needed to do all of the things you want to. Now, you can choose to do nothing, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with not doing nothing. You don't have to change the world. Some people don't want kids, some people want kids. You don't have to do anything. That's your decision. For those who do something, instead, you use these things, because if you know anything about life, it's going to happen either way. It's going to, the sun will rise, the sun will set, the moon will rise, the moon will set. The waves will tide. Get it? Hey, so it's going to do what it's going to do. The main thing is, what are you going to do when it happens? Because if you're not set up, if you're not structured, if you're not disciplined, if you're running from problems, if you're running from responsibilities, I'm talking to you. Like, you think he's slick on the other side of that camera telling these people that what they need to be doing. But I'm talking to him right there, that if you think that you getting away, no, there's a, like, I mean, do your thing. Like, literally do what you do, but just know how you're doing it. So that way, when the energy times the emotion equaling out to the overall outcome, you can't be upset about the outcome. You literally have set yourself up. You wanted to do it, you did it, and now you got something. You didn't do it, you didn't want to do it, you got nothing. That's like, this is math, people. Like, this, look, this is that 1 + 1 = 2 math right here, right? Like, like, so it really takes that concept to know that, like, that fear is going to be there. Yes. Knowing that fear and being free from that fear is the real objective, to where you train yourself to get out of that routine. Then allowing yourself to know that whatever you can do and whatever you want to do just takes the action necessary to do it, while building that confidence to know, that proof behind the confidence because of the work, the skill set that was developed to show that proof, the discipline design behind the skill set to get to those levels. And then it all just works around and around again. This is why we designed the signature pour shift perspective in this manner, so that way it can be followed accordingly. So that way it's simple structure and immense action that can be taken behind the simplicities of the structure. Because if you know anything about explosions, they don't have to be massive to be destructive. like a nuke and a grenade in a 1-by-1 room can do all of the same damage, just based on the perspective of it. So just because your explosion may be small doesn't mean that it can't be catastrophic. So allow yourself to know that, all right, cool, I got a little bit of some discipline. I like to run, I'm active. And let me not use an example, because everybody wasn't like a sports editor. Everybody's not hand-eye coordinated and whatnot. So I always use like that, because I've just been active. But for the people who, let's use the people who are Rubik's cute, like cup stacking champions and whatnot. Well, I guess that's a bad one too because everybody's not a cup stacking champion either. Like, I mean, I'm not doing all that. That's impressive. Like, like, but what all I'm really attempting to get to is the fact of just doing what you do in your capacity of it, right? You have what you do, like whether it be as grand as a Super Bowl halftime stage or as subtle as a nice jazz bar performance. There is something that can come from each one of them. They don't have to be like I've learned that you don't have to really take over the world, right? You don't have to be everywhere. You do, however, have to be somewhere. You do have to be present. And as long as you want to, you can show as much as you want. Like, the world of technology now, like you don't even have to be someone on camera to be famous for being on camera. Like you got designers and web creators and all of these things that I don't do. Like, so there's a lot more that can be done. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm getting into coding. Like, I gotta give me some code and some AI development. Man, like I say, more work. Like, like a little bit more to do. Like, I'm excited about it. And through the structures of it, there's more that can be done, right? You just wanna be able to have some perspective into it. Like whether you want to do it or not, right? You don't need perspective to use it, right? You can just have perspective to have it. Like you can have perspective and understand like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then go about your day, right? It's just all about obtaining more knowledge, right? You just get smarter in it. You get smarter and then you learn more and then you realize like, oh, well, this is cool. And then you realize that it can be stacked along with this setup as well. And it just goes hand in hand. I always talk about it regularly, like, stacking the principles, right? My favorite ones that I stack are Kaizen, the Kaizen, 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 Wabi-sabi, and Ikigai. Okay, so yeah. So Ikigai, the purpose of life. Kaizen, I'm mixing them up. My brain isn't getting them. Kaizen, the 1% betterment, right? And then Wabi-sabi, the beauty and everything. So the beauty and everything of the 1% betterment and the purpose of that 1% betterment all play a part in it and being able to increase how I want to go about what I'm doing, right? So that's you don't need to use, like, they're individual principles, right? But you don't need to use them individually. You can let them work together because then through them working together like that, it always creates this new little formula that somebody ain't never heard of. Maybe it creates something that somebody probably discovered but nobody really talked about and that you rediscovered, like energy of transformation, baby. Like that's it. It just happens. Neither destroyed or created, just transformed. So you transform the ideas, you transform the perspectives, you transform the whole concepts of what you can do based off of how you're able to do it. Like it's just like that's and then once you do all of that, right? Once you got that, right? Have some fun. Like, kind of work at it and then be like, all right, this is how it goes, this is how it's structured, this is how I do it. And then sit back and have some fun with it. Look at it and go, all right, cool. Now I'm about to climb. Let it, you always throw it this way, throw it that way. It's not always what it is. It's about what you're doing with what it is. If it's like, this is why, a child can play with anything, like, like pick up a stick and go crazy, like, because like now it's a sword, it's a gun, it's a spear, it's like, it's a cane, like you just get creative with it and you allow yourself to have it. What we do is that we go, oh, I want to be this creative, and then the fear kicks in of like what people are gonna think, how it's gonna go, how much time I have to do it. If I do it, is it gonna look right? Like, all of these excuses come in of you. This is the point of being able to understand how to make that fear your friend. That I always say it, that it's not to those signals that you get when you go, I want to do something, and then you go, oh, what if it goes? Oh, what if it is? Oh, like there's nothing wrong with having those. Those are letting you know that, all right, cool. Hey, these can be considered, just to let you know, hey, do your thing, depending on how you receive the message. So if you're someone who goes, all right, here I go, and you're like, oh, that's nothing wrong. Don't back down. That's your body letting you know that there's a little bit more calculations to it. I've learned that. Like, I've been the opposite my whole life. I've kind of been someone who's like, oh my gosh, it looks fun. And then I go and do it. And then I jump off of it, not realizing how high it was, and then how to land and not to roll out of the landing and all of these other things, spraining ankles and stuff. So like, I do it differently. But it's not about stopping yourself from jumping. It's about the understanding of jumping. It's about knowing that like this is where I'm gonna go, and then you go and jump. You go for it. You go do it, and then you make it. Cool. You don't make it. Cool. Now you realize how to do it. Like, be more constructive with the concepts of how you're going about it. Like, just because it didn't work your way does not mean it did not work in a way. Like, you got to be able to understand that there are things that come from things. You do something, something happens. When that something happens, it's up to your reaction or actions that allow you to go, all right, that works out for me. Or it goes, oh man, I guess it's you. It's all you. Like you win at it, and then something happened, and then now you feeling some kind of way because you got. But then what we do is we forget that we're only feeling some kind of way because we're not aware of why we feel some kind of way. Once you understand like the science behind you doing something to make you feel some kind of way, then you break down the equation of, all right, cool. Maybe if I do it in this manner with this much emotion and then go for it, it can be something different versus me going at it with this much emotion and this much energy and then it being this. That's the setup. You just set it up nicely. It works because you make it work, and not making it work like work. No, you do it. I didn't work. Okay. Didn't work. Okay, wait. There it is. Now it's working. Like, because then you give yourself that time. You don't let the fear of it falling again to stop you from building it again. Like, and the example I use with this one is the fact that, like, I do my fair share of acrobatics, and I know a lot of people who just who do not do backflips anymore because they landed wrong and hurt the wrist and landed on the neck weird. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've jumped in the air. Like, a backflip, a front flip, acrobatics take a certain kind of level of focus. So you got to know that, like, when you're in the air, like what you want your body to do. So I can't tell you how many times I went and did the round off and jumped. And it was like, wait, why am I jumping again? And then coming down on my damn neck. Like, so yes, through that though, I'm not gonna let the fear of falling on my neck again, like, stop me from ever doing another backflip. I'm gonna go, all right, now when I do it, I'm gonna be more into it. I'm gonna be more coordinated, and then I still do it, and then I still fall. Like, that's the point. Like, because, like, okay, well, now it's just because of the fact that I just gotta do it differently. Like, you know, and then I get up and I'm like, fucking grass and all in my hair. All right. Ugh. Do it land. All right. That's how we do it. Like, that's how you get in. Like you just allow yourself to just all right. Let me see. Like, and then the thing is, I don't say like go crazy with it. Like, you know, just do it in the manner, right? You know, you got a setup of it, you got a design of it. Just do it in a manner that, you know, it could work best for you. You know, don't go crazy over it. There's nothing to be nothing tranquilo, hermano. Tranquila, chica. It's just what we do. You know, it takes the little bit of the work. And you can't be afraid of that work. That work is the work necessary because nobody who's ever done anything, it just happened. Like you do stuff in life and things happen. So it's just all depending on what you decide to do. If you decide to be fearful, then it's going to consume you. If you decide to let it know that it's here to let you know, hey, but I'm here for you, and just consider the fact that you can land on your neck, and you go, all right, you approach it differently. You give yourself the time. You don't psych yourself out. You give yourself the obligation of responsibility to know, like, all right, bro, if you haven't been training, then you obviously gonna pull your back attempting to lift that weight, you know, versus you going, all right, bro, you've been at this, like, you know, let yourself do what you do naturally, you know. And that's all what it is. That's all. I mean, it's just a little bit of that every day. It's just a little bit of that, like, you know, all the time. Like, that's the best part about it. Like, because then you start to realize, like, oh, wait, hold up. I'm already here. I might as well do something with it. I might as well allow myself to let it flow. Because I will be damned if I am already here, already learning lessons, already doing it, and then still gotta feel some kind of way about it. No. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. Oh, inconvenience. Oh, trip. Oh, fall. All right. Okay. We're gonna enjoy ourselves, and then keep going at it. Like, because there are plenty of people who are deciding to stop because it's just too hard, because it hurts. Yes, it does hurt. It hurts a lot. Stop being a little bitch. You see, we ain't use as much profanity this time. I'm getting out of, I have an extensive vocabulary, but sometimes, like, you can't tell a motherfucker to fuck off unless you say it. Like, with excusing why my français, I don't know the rules just yet. They got to send me to monetize and set up, like, you can't be on there and just using all that profanity. But I tell you, man, like, this is what happens. Do you know why it gets better from here? Do you know why? Because we get better. Because we allow all of the fears, all of the hesitation, all of the procrastination, all of what has stopped us from doing what we were doing to go, all right, wait, I get it now. I understand. I won't let it do that no more. And then you adjust. You get better. Because then through the trips and the falls, you understand that that's the whole setup of it. That's why I say it only gets better from here, because when you're on your way and you're walking and then you walk past the dollar, you're like, hey, look, $1. I got $1. Here we are. Yep, do. But then also when you're walking and then you trip, you're like, oh yeah. All right, well, I guess that means I'm walking kind of weird. I should probably set myself up to walk a little bit more solidly, because you get your form, your awareness, your balance gets better. Like, your day gets better when you get $1. You're like, damn, like, it got me $1, that's just how it goes, because it always gets better as long as you're willing to allow it to get better. The moment you go, I fall, and you're like, like I just fell and now I've fallen, and now my shoes and my outfit and my coffee and my day is horrible and my life is that's what you make it. That's what you decided to be. Nobody can help you with that. Nobody, no one can help you with that perspective. That's what everybody is doing in this way. Everybody has perspective, but then everybody attempts to project that perspective on someone else. That person doesn't get it. Then the person projecting the perspective gets upset that their message isn't getting reciprocated in the way they want it to, because that's not how it works. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you don't just do stuff and then people do what you, because people are doing their own stuff. People got all their other shit going on. Like, so you can't just get caught up in what people are doing and the perspective of people and how people come. You can say your piece. You can go, hey, like, I've always thought about it in this manner and whatnot. And then people could look at you and go, and anyway, whatever he's talking about. And then you can feel some kind of way, or you can just be like, oh, I guess they just don't see it from my point of view. And then go about your day. Like you can do both. Like, you can still be who you are in the world and then still not care about how the world is going. Like, it's just, look, and I don't mean it like that. Like, I want to say it differently. Like, you can still, like, is that what we were talking about last? People are taking on the emotion of a problem rather than just understanding the problem. So then someone goes, oh my gosh, like, oh, sorry. And then they take on the emotion, when in reality, you can still talk to someone about their problems, give reasonable solution. We're adults. Like, if we're having a conversation, then we obviously have some kind of sense of perspective to understand that we can do something here, versus just crying about it and allowing ourselves to grow from it, allowing ourselves to do something. Then we can always do more. But, everybody just decides to take on the emotion without the actual construct of the systems that can be implemented to make the situation better, or even the concepts of not, like, trust and believe. You can pull the nah, damn, that's crazy, like, as many times like as you need to before they start talking to you. Like, so you still don't have to pay attention. We talked about it last week, being in the work environment of it. Like, what do? You're in the work environment of someone who is like this. Like, you don't have to take on the emotion. You can hit them with the, damn, that's crazy. Like, all day. They sit over here. They sit, look, this is how I do it. Look. With someone who's like that in the workplace or in school or whatever, when they're like, this is that person who always got problems, and you gotta, like, damn, that's crazy in them for like the 4 to 6 hours that you're around them. Like, hit them with it. Like, when something happens, like, damn, that's why, like, shit always happens to you. And then they're gonna look at you like, I know, right? Like, and then do you understand they're not learning? Like, then you understand that, oh, we do it. Gives you better perspective. You don't need to be somebody who has to go through the shit to be in the shit to understand how the shit go. Like, you just got to be able to understand how shit is. Like, and look, I love this, because I don't say this because, like, I got a point to prove. Like, like, hey, look, we on the channel, we talking about it, we having some fun with it. I say this because it's a lot of people in this, I've learned, it's a lot of people in this state of, like, wondering, like, oh, why? Oh. Through me, I've had to learn. I've had, why would something, like, because you were reckless, because you were intoxicated, because you weren't focused, and then you allowed it to destroy everything you were working on because of one moment of what you were doing. We do it every day. The best part about it is the fact that it works the other way too. We set ourselves up every day to do the thing. If you got an event coming up, then you work on it. You work on it, all the way up until the day that the shit happens. And then once you're done with that one, then you get to the next one, right? I always say it, life is like this grand performance. Every day you just kind of work, rehearse, perform, reconstruct the whole setup of it. And then you go out into the world and then you present it. And then sometimes you get this massive reaction of, like, that was awesome. Like, who are you? And how do you do this? And, like, you come here all the time and you're always like this. Or you go out in the world and then you do it and then you kind of get crickets. Both are good things, because you're in motion, because you're doing something, because you're in it, because you're not allowing yourself to contract because of what the unknown persists of. Yes, the unknown is unknowing. The unexpected can be expected. If you allow yourself to understand it, allow yourself to really learn from it, allow yourself to just be like, okay, that makes sense. Then you start to use your own law of conservation of energy and transform it in your own manner, restructure it in your own setup, make it a part of your everyday, nail it, master it, perfect it, then you redesign it again. And then you either let it be, go to something else, you keep working on it till that goes to a point to where, hey, I don't know how far it can go. Look at our world now. Look at our society. Look at what people are doing. Like, there's an entire world of people just outdoing the last thing, like outdoing themselves. Like, there are people breaking their own records. They ain't even nobody in their caliber. They got to break their own records. They got to show up again the next year like, oh, nobody here still cool. Got to beat this best now. To where that they got to beat their best on a regular basis. So, I mean, tell you, man, look, let me stop waffling. Like, understanding that the fear is there, yes. Knowing that isn't enough. Being free from the fear. You know how you escape being free? Excuse me. You know how you escape the fear? By doing something. Bridging the possibilities to the action. The possibility, performing action to get to an end result while building the confidence, proof, skills, and disciplines necessary to get you there. That's what it is. And it's that. I was just on the phone with a very good friend of mine talking about the same concept of what's up, what's going on, what's the next move, how you doing, how we getting it. Hey, es una gran vida, solo mejora, es solo el comienzo. Yokunai, Bakore, Korega, Watashi des, Sohore, Subarashi, Jinserai Tomodachi. Setu on Belvi. That's all I know in French. And I tell you, it is great. Like, it is awesome because, man, like, I've recently had a couple of disappointments of my own that I was like, thought I was, it's been having me think. It's been having me in a process of thought. I'm looking out at the lake like, I'm talking to my people and I'm like, I'm creating the structure and I'm like, yeah, this makes more sense. Because that's what happens. You want to do something, you do it. It don't work as well as you thought you wanted to do it in. And then you're like, But then you go back like, why didn't it work the way that I wanted it to? Let me see. Let me reanalyze. And then you restructure it. Then you make the decision that you can or you can't. And then you continue on. Then it happens. And then it opens up all of these other possibilities of what could be just based off of one decision. To just go. To just go. Like, that's the part. That's why the world seems so small to everybody, because no one ever moves outside of their own zip code. That's why life seems so short, because before you know it, you were just in high school, and then you look back 25 years later and you ain't did shit since high school. like it's just about what's going on. Like, you just gotta look. Every time period has had the ups and downs of society, And in every one of those time periods, there have been people striving and thriving, and there's been people surviving. It's really just based off of what you decide to do that allows you to be on it. It's the same thing today. We have the same technology, we have the same communication, we have the same aspects of what we're able to do, and yet everybody feels that they're not doing it. There was a time where the media was just introduced to society at first, and then everybody felt. If you listen to like older interviews and stuff like that, they still, you kind of hear them still say, um, "Oh, and everybody's so caught up in the media and what it's supposed to be." They were talking about this years ago, 60, 70, 80 years ago, that this is what's been going on, that the distractions of people. Like before they had TVs, it was something else. It was something then that allowed people to be so distracted about why they couldn't do something. And then before that, like there's always gonna be something to give a reason on why not to. If your reasons to do so are a lot stronger than just the reasons to not, then you do. And everything is possible to those who do. So you just gotta understand that you just gotta do it. Do your thing, get into it, have some fun, change the perspective, and then go in. Like, do it. Cause at the end of the day, guess what? As scared as you are, no one even cares. No one cares. No one cares that you want to climb that mountain. No one cares that you want to go on that 5K. No one cares that you got a tournament. No one cares that you want to talk to that girl. No one cares that you want to be successful. No one cares. And I don't mean that like you don't have loved ones that don't love you or anything or care about you or anything. No, I mean like in the theory of you going, all right, I'm going for this, but I mean, if anybody's watching, like, no one cares. No one's watching. No one gives, like, they're only watching once they start watching. And then if you fall and then they're watching and they like, ooh, and then you get up like, that's all they gonna see. But if you doing what you do and then they kind of look over and they see you fall, they're like, ow. And then they see you get back up and, go back at it again. They go, oh, well, he's pretty resilient, hey, he's gonna get there. You just choose. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that. I think I'll go with this because this is where it's at. Like, this is how you do it. This is where you go. Like it took, look, it didn't happen overnight. When it took a little time. Like this is one rapper named Flipper T. Like, she like, hey, I'm with it. Like it ain't happened overnight. It just took a little time. Like, man, come on now. Like it just doesn't happen. It takes some ability. It takes some effort, some kind. Then once you make the effort, it becomes effortless, baby, because then guess what? You picking up 100 pounds one hand. But then they looking at you for real like, damn, what you doing with 100 pounds in one hand? And you over here like, bro, that's okay, Hago. I've been doing this. Been doing this. Been at this. It only looks like this to y'all because y'all don't know what I did to get here. Gosh, man, that's awesome. There's a whole world out here of people who just have been in the background, in the cut, in behind the scenes, just in it, working, doing it, putting it, performing at it. And then they showed up to the grand performance of life and was like, boom. And then the world was like, damn. And then now they just like, because of what been done before. So guess what? Nosotros arriba. We up because we're going to allow ourselves to have the same aspects of the giants of the world. Because guess what? You're a giant as well. You just got to grow. That's it. You just got to start stepping. You got to just start the moment. Look, you're a giant in your own midst now. Now you got to step. So when you step, they hear it. They feel the vibrations of the earth, the building shake. Your fire is ablaze so high that they can't put it out that it's that they just gotta let it burn. That's what you're capable of. This is what we can do. And yes, it's gonna be some work. And guess what? It's gonna be real fun too. It's gonna be real fun too, because then we get to work. Inconvenience. Still working. Oh my gosh, you always like this. Baby girl, because of work, I always like this. Like, you do your thing. You get into it because you do what you do best. This is why the moment you start doing what you do, don't look around. Keep doing it. You do your thing, do it. Don't go. They watch. They see it. They looking. No, do it. Dance like you the only one on the floor. Move like you the only one that know. Do how you do what you do before. I tell you, because that's what it is. That's how it can go. If you allow it, if you allow yourself to get there. You know, you you gotta work. And there ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of work. There ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of work, man. You better stop playing, man, do a little bit of I tell you what. Excuse me. Well, let me get like, look, as I've been letting it be known, like, we changing up the structure of like the channel and whatnot. So like, I don't want to be like in the comments while like I'm reading. I'm gonna get we're gonna get the mediators, all that good stuff, however that works out and all the good things. But we're gonna get into a couple of those comments. As I say. Yeah, trust and believe. Like, yes, no one ground. But I appreciate all my people in the chat. From Nigeria. See over, man. Yeah, man. We are in it to win it. Hey, that's what's up. I see my people in the chat. I appreciate that. Jesus love you too, my friend. It's all about like, that's just all it is. I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Like, I'm gonna figure out better. Like, Noah, what's up? I know, bro. I know it's been a long time, bro. We back in it. We having fun with it. We doing our thing. It's good to see everybody. Oh, no. Yeah, nah, bro, man. As I say, to all my people who have been in, to all the new people that have come in, like, I appreciate it. Like, I love it. Like, it's awesome. The fact that, I'm not deciding to become some YouTube guru content creator aspect. I got the signature reset course available in the link. So if you ever want to get a little bit more knowledge, you can go in there. But I'm not doing nothing too crazy. I'm here to just talk about the importance of the health, the wealth, the energy that's necessary in your everyday. That's what the TSP is all about. The signature poor baby, to where that we do what we do best. We keep that CDA, that consistent discipline action, everyday shit, excusing what mon français, but for our everyday success, all right? So do what you do, get at it, have some fun with it, and I will see you all next Saturday for the shift in perspective, doing what we do best. I appreciate everybody in it. Have some fun. Enjoy your Saturday. Go out there, change the world, do your thing, and have some fun. You keep hearing me say that, right? Have some fun with it. Look, the same flower looks beautiful in different eyes. Look at that. Poetic. Didn't even attempt to do it. I will see you all next Saturday here live. Stay tuned. Check out your boys' shorts, doing what we do. Let's make it happen. I will see you all. My boy Ricky. What my boy Ricky say? What my boy Ricky? I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate it, y'all. Everybody, do stay up. Much love. Only gets better from here because we only get better. All right, y'all. I'll see you all next Saturday. Holla. I know you see me over here.